The letter is on the table, Holmes. You should...
I agree with you. I can tell from Lestrade's handwriting that he was in a hurry when he wrote this letter. The Brackenstall family coat of arms. A wax seal with the monogram E.B.
So, what is it, Holmes?
Promising, as always.
So you believe that Sir Eustace is dead?
I should say so. Lestrade wouldn't have sent for me for less. His writing shows considerable agitation, and he is not an emotional man. These people belong to high society. The quality of the writing paper, the E.B. monogram, their coat of arms. The crime was committed before midnight.
Holmes, how can you possibly tell?
Well, it is all thanks to Lestrade. He wrote his letter at 3:30 in the morning. Imagine the chain of events before that. The local police had to be called in. Scotland Yard was notified. Lestrade himself had to make haste there, and finally compose the letter he sent to me. All of that makes for a fair night's work.
It makes sense. Lestrade also speaks of the woman he released.
That seems to indicate that she had been held somewhere during the crime. Much time has been wasted. Let us find a cab and go to Abbey Grange immediately. I live in hope of an interesting morning.
Ah, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson, here you are. I'm very glad that you have come, but perhaps I should not have troubled you after all.
And why is that?
Lady Brackenstall has come to her senses, and she has given so clear an account of the affair that there is not much left for us to do. You remember that Lewisham gang of burglars?
What, the three Randalls?
Exactly. The father and two sons. It's their work. They stole a silver service, which is of great value.
Sir Eustace Brackenstall is dead, then?
Yes. His head was knocked in with his own poker.
A violent act of aggression.
Yes, the poor lady. She has had a most dreadful experience. She was assaulted and tied to a chair. But I think that you would best see her and hear her account of the facts. She's in the morning room with her maid to raise a right.
Where is the body of the deceased?
In the dining room. We haven't touched anything.
All right. I'm going to examine it.
Very good, Watson.
Lady Brackenstall awaits you in the morning room.
Ladies, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting Inspector Lestrade in this investigation.
Mr. Holmes, I am the wife of Sir Eustace Brackenstall. We were married only a year ago.
I am sorry for your loss. Please accept my deepest condolences.
I suppose that it is no use my attempting to conceal that our marriage has not been a happy one. I fear that all would tell you that, even if I were to attempt to deny it.
Can you describe?
Is it really necessary?
Yes.
I will tell you then. Sir Eustace retired about 10:30. I sat in this room until after 11. Absorbed. Before I went up,
Please.
as I approached the French window, close behind, one of them struck me.
And
When I came to myself, I found that they had secured me tightly to...
he...
Yes, I think he had heard them, for he was holding his stick. But they were 3, and he... I fainted once more.
Did these...
Yes, I found that they...
You mentioned that...
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
The bruises on your hands are at least...
How do you... Yes, Sir Eustace was a drunk.
Your ladyship? Teresa.
Certainly. As I sat by my bedroom window, I saw 3 men.
And...
I went to bed, and it was more than an hour after that I heard my mistress scream. And down I... That's all.
A trapper's hut. This photograph of Lady Brackenstall and her maid Teresa was taken at a port, but which one? So the lady and her maid came from Australia a year and a half ago on this ship. The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady Brackenstall is identical to the one in the Times article. These scratches are most definitely made by the picture frame. This is Sir Eustace's safe. There may be something important inside. I must ask Lady Brackenstall to open it. Lady Bracken...
No.
We have... Your ladyship? Let us try to open this safe. This safe can be cracked. I only have to pay attention. The dial will vibrate when it is set to the correct number. It is common practice to keep one's valuables in a safe. Antique coins.
Oh, what a horrible...
Sir Eustace's doctor...
Yes, it is true. Sly devil. God forgive me that I should speak of him so. She'd only just arrived in London. Wonner with his title and his money and his false London ways.
Oh, what a horrible...
My mistress is very tired. Can't you allow her to her room?
What do you know about...
A charming man went... Why, once he splashed fuel on Lady Brackenstall's dog and set it alight. To the point that...
You should examine the body of Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
The hunting scene. A trapper's hut. So, Watson, what have you learned from examining Sir Eustace's body?
Well, I can confirm that the death was instant. Sir Eustace was facing his attacker when he received the blow to his head. There are no other apparent injuries.
Antique hunting weapons. These wine bottles are expensive and mostly from France. A bottle of wine is missing here. This candlestick is valuable. An empty silver... The criminals did not thoroughly ransack the house. They only took a little silverware. The hunting scene. This door leads to the upstairs bedroom. Sailor's knots. That's interesting. This rope was handled by the murderers. We need a scent hound to follow their trail. I will take it with me. This is the chair. A decanter standing next to the open... There is beeswing at the bottom, as if the wine had not been decanted before being poured. This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. It is rather strange that only one of these glasses has dregs of beeswing inside it, while the other two are clear. Chateau Calon Ségur, French wine, Grand Cru. A deer hunt. A deer hunt. A fur trader's cabin. A fur trader's cabin. Quite a large stick, a formidable weapon. That must be the murder weapon. Barefoot, he had therefore been in bed and did not have time to fully dress. The head was cracked with the force of the blow. It is covered in blood. Sir Eustace might... It appears that the bell rope was cut by someone taller than me. It appears...
The death was instant.
I've searched outside for footprints without...
There are three...
Oh, I forgot. They might have been a far...
Your ladyship?
Please leave my...
Come on, Toby. We need the best nose in the British Empire on this case. I agree with you, Toby, that... Let us see how the rope was cut. The fibers at the end of the rope are smoothly cut. Let us try to find out what tool was used to cut the rope. The fibers from this cut appear to be different. If I cut the rope with a knife, it matches the original. I agree with you, Toby. Search, Toby. The intruders entered the shed for some reason when they were making off with the silverware. The scent leads to the well. I should check it. The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall. The criminals left the house through the French window. They walked to the shed, then across to the well, before fleeing by climbing over the wall. I wonder why they chose such a winding route. This hook might be useful. Bags of seed. Some empty bags were recently moved. Small gardening tools, nothing of great interest. This old suitcase sounds... There's something glittering at the bottom there, but how can I reach it? Silverware. This is hardly a coincidence. The Brackenstall coat of arms. It appears that we have found the stolen silverware. The intruders... Inspector,
You are...
in the...
Excuse...
You...
Rather absurd.
Perhaps it was you.
Holmes, don't look at me like that. I don't know...
We found your silver.
Is that true? I am...
Your ladyship? We found...
Oh, that...
in...
Oh,
Brave Toby.
What should we do next, Holmes?
My search must be focused upon the ship's name and year of voyage. Here it is. The shipping company, the Adelaide...
I think that if you pretend you're from...
But I have another...
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
I need a register, my young friend. If you could...
I'm struck.
My secret police...
Here it is, Mr. Holmes. But we can't take it.
Put it on the... This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady... And these are the lists of the senior officers of the Adelaide, Southampton, London Line ships. Let us find out who was in London upon November the 7th. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case. I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case. I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case. I do not... This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime. I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case. This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This list shows the senior officers. Mr. Jack Crocker, was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days. Captain Jack Crocker is our mysterious...
This Croc...
It would be in... Wiggins, could you find a way to bring this captain...
Here?
No.
Mr. Holmes, I was informed...
Yes. You are acquainted...
Yes, I think I do remember.
It seems...
How...
Indeed, how reckless a feat. You are aware that the murder made the headlines of the morning press. You read the newspaper report, but to your dismay...
You...
That evening, you...
I'm not afraid, Mr. Holmes. What?
Lady Br... And it...
You call that evidence?
Yes, as she was...
So, your theory is flawed anyway.
It
was an emergency.
I'm...
Perfect. In that case, we have nothing more to talk about. Good evening, gentlemen.
Holmes, what?
No, there is no doubt. So...
Now I understand why you dissected the bell rope.
Holmes, don't look at me like that.
Oh, what a horrible...
Please leave my Mary.
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here again, please?
Right away.
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
What?
I know, because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife. The knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
It is time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. But I never did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again. But it turned into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared raise his hand to her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots. Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes.
You would not have managed to protect her.
Till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything clear. And it is the one that should be disclosed to the police. I am the only culprit. Mary had nothing to do with it. Now it is time to end this. You should have let me die. How can I live if Mary suffers?
I am sorry, Captain Crocker, but there has been quite enough death in this case. Inspector, I give you Sir Eustace's killer. He tried his best to perform his own justice.
Well, I'm not surprised. Yes, it was me. I confess.
Here is a piece of evidence that can be used in court.
Perfect. A case that went smoothly for once.
Holmes, for heaven's sake, whatever's going on?
Oh, hello, Watson. You're early. Did you kill all of your patients?
What? Holmes, where have all these wretched bees come from?
I increased the temperature of the room so as to prevent them from hibernating. I needed to take a sample of honey. But it worked, Watson. We will have honey all year round.
Ridiculous and dangerous.
They're domestic bees, Apis mellifera, such industrious workers. Anyway, Watson, I am sorry, but I must leave you. I'm in rather a hurry.
You have a new case?
Yes, but nothing as thrilling as this experiment. A theft of plants at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew. I'm helping a minister who's an old friend of mine. You can join me if you like.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours. Besides, you'll need a helping hand with the flowers you're intending to bring back.
Watson, however did you guess?
For the great Sherlock Holmes to bother with the theft of plants. Come on, admit that you're planning to spoil your little bees with some rare pollens.
Since when did I become so transparent? Let us go.
Well, Holmes, here we are at the Royal Botanic Gardens. There's no doubt that this place is beautiful. But are you really intent on investigating the theft of the plants?
Yes, of course.
Don't touch anything else, is that... Good day to you, gentlemen.
I am afraid that it... We are investigating...
So you're... I am...
I am...
They were rare and... We haven't removed... We only learned of their disappearance...
No.
No? But I would imagine that for a thief it would be fairly...
Well, if you don't mind.
Yes, the one just behind... Albert!
How many...
Only myself. But occasionally 2 students. Albert, whom you have met...
Here it is. This is the place where the...
Thank...
Yes, there is. It seems to me that the tragedy that took place here only 2 days ago has...
What?
The director of Kew Gardens, Mr. Montague Dunn.
We're very sorry.
He...
Oh dear.
You say that...
Holmes.
Yes. Just here. Near the door to the colonial... Excuse me, gentlemen, but I cannot remain here.
Of course. The plants were here. All of them were...
Do not...
Here is a list. According to Albert, this is where his father, Montague Dunn, was found dead. Soil. It should have come from a flower pot. The soil on the side of this flower shelf is the same as that on the ground. Fragment. The traces are thinner in some places. These boot marks are fresh. It appears as though someone was dragging their feet. The footprints reveal that someone staggered here. This pot was broken fairly recently. A flower pot recently fell down from these shelves and was misplaced. The door was smashed at shoulder height. This door handle is new. It was recently changed. The esconsson was breached near the handle. The door was forced from the inside of the Colonial Collection Room. The handle was changed afterwards.
I think we need to inspect the Colonial Collection.
This sign is broken. Something heavy was dropped upon it. Blood. Someone fell violently against this sign, and they were injured in the clash, most likely a head wound. All the clues around here are quite suspicious. I need my imagination to make sense of it all. This reconstruction reveals a disturbing fact. Montague Dunn damaged the door of the Colonial Collection Room.
He was in a panic, or the door was locked. Was it an accident, or a murder then, I wonder? I think we need to inspect the Colonial Collection.
Very strange. Half of the Colonial Collection is absent. This broken fragment was the result of a heavy blow. A fragment of marble, most likely chipped from a statue or sculpture. These windows were perfectly cleaned. The smell is strong. It is a detergent. Part of this greenhouse was emptied and thoroughly cleaned. This is one of the outlets of the ventilation system. According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building. These plants come from all the territories of the British Empire. According to this, these flower pots are beautiful. They are intended to be used for exhibition purposes. The symbol is not from Kew Gardens. There is a smell of burning. The symbol is not from Kew Gardens. A door handle? Why would anyone throw such a thing in the fire? The door handle to the colonial collection and that of the fireplace are made of the same material. A broom handle was half burned. The remains of a picture frame. A protective mask. Someone set it alight, but it did not burn. The plants were set alight fairly recently. Some have not completely burned. Colonial water lily, dry trot, ventilation, sea, nest, direct, palm, reserve. A map of a ventilation system, a water, Nursery. Locked. Locked.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
A task list for Albert, compiled.
Yes.
You're fine.
Well, even if...
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon. Palm House. According to water, dry tropics. Dry tropics. Seed house. Locked. Seed house. Locked. Nursery. Locked.